of this great edifice. It is my pleasure, my honor to stand before all of you to represent this lodge and to be the worshipful master to dedicate the fellowship hall to two beautiful people, one of which is with us in spirit, the other is here physically with us. So at this time, I am going to ask everybody to please rise. Public meeting of Rosenberg Lodge number 881 for the purpose of renaming our fellowship hall to the Margaret and Burienne Stuart Fellowship Hall. At this time, I would ask Brother Chaplain to please lead us in prayer.
Father God, thank you again for bringing us all here today as we celebrate this tremendous occasion for our lodge and celebrate the lives and the love of our dear friends. We ask, Father, that everything that we do today be pleasing in your sight. And these things we ask in your name.
Woe to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as the Fort Bend Commandery number 74 will now present the flag.
Forward, march. Follow left, march. Sir Knight, halt. Right, face. Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the flag of our beloved country. It is always displayed in the east of every Masonic lodge, where it is accorded the position of highest honor. It is a constant inspiration to every lover of his country, to every true patriot of America. It demands unswerving loyalty and wholehearted devotion to the principles of which it is a glorious representative. It is the majestic symbol of freedom under constitutional government. Beneath its protecting folds, liberty, equality, and fraternity have become the heritage of every citizen, while the oppressed of many nations have found peace and happiness in the land over which it floats. Alone of all flags, now the flags of many nations have come and gone, but the stars and stripes remain. Alone of all flags, it speaks with the sovereignty of its people. Speaking with their voice, it has the sanctity of revelation. So long as it flies, governed of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and and gentlemen, please join me in the pledge to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Sir Knights, return the flag to their station in the east. Sir Knights, return. Swords. Forward, march. Column left, march. Column right, march.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Margaret, you're gonna have to make eye contact. Before we get started, I think it would be most appropriate, Margaret, if you would introduce the leader of the family.
My daughter Carolyn, your husband Brian Cooper, other daughter Sharon, son Michael, and my grandsons, Cameron, Jonah, Derek, Cody, Kimberly, and this is my niece, and I'm Margaret.
I have been known to be boisterous. I'm not gonna let him get out of that. But this is not about Rosenberg Lodge. This is not about me, nor is it about the officers of my lodge. This day is about you and Burienne Stuart. And leading up to this has been in the process for 6 or 7 months, something like that. It's actually been a beautiful trajectory to get to this place. And Burienne, as you all know, was a very modest man. He was very humble, and he didn't like a lot of fanfare. And if he was still alive, we probably would not be doing this. But it was not negotiable. So when we started talking about this with Margaret, she was adamant that she wanted this day to be all about Burienne. And she and I had our first disagreement. And we had to agree to disagree that this day is as much about her as it is about him. Now, I don't have to tell the family how great of a man Burienne was. I knew him on a personal level, and I only knew him through a personal level through my association with him through Mason. He was a great Mason. He was a Mason's Mason. And I can't count how many Masons he probably touched in his Masonic career. And y'all would want to hear a little bit more about that today. You're not going to hear everything about it because there's just not enough. But for example, I am going to ask all Master Masons to please rise and introduce yourself.
Town Basin, Martin Lodge 72.
I'm there, Shusky, Rosenberg, 881.
John Bradley, Junior Warden, Rosenberg 881. Junior Warden in Portland, 72.
Rosenberg 881.
Jimmy.
I want to take the proceeds for the funds for compensation grant.
E-Force Taskmaster Key 1439. I appreciate that.
Norm Nichols, Sugar Land 1141.
Julius Thomas, Sugar Land 1141.
Christopher Cho, Sugar Land 1141. Everett High, Taskmaster, Sugar Land 1141.
Frank Casey, Rosenberg Lodge 881, and East Bernard 817.
Eric Bean, Rosenberg 881, Frank Tyler.
Will Rubalcaba, 881, Junior Deacon.
I'm Bill Smith, Taskmaster Morton Lodge number 72, current senior warden at Rosenberg number 881.
Matt Woodard, Junior Deacon, Sugar Land 1141.
Robert J. Byrne, Sugar Land 1141.
John St. John, Sugar Land 1141.
Russell Wood, Rosenberg, 881.
Kenny Meyer, Rosenberg 881, senior.
Tom Dunk, Taskmaster, Rosenberg 881.
Wayne Kelly, Taskmaster, Morton Lodge number 72, at East Bernard Lodge number 27. And I am still Cody Cockcroft, and I am also a Taskmaster, Morton Lodge number 72. Brother Masters, thank y'all for being here and support this great event. At this time, I want to recognize the Grand Lodge officers, as well as the Worshipful Master of Sugar Land Lodge number 1141. Brother Gavin Sweeney is also representing the Grotto, but he is the Worshipful Master of Sugar Land Lodge number 1141. Brother, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Worshipful Master.
In the back, the guy who's filming this thing, this is Brother Carlton Newberry. He is the District Communications Officer of Masonic District number 44 of the Most Worshipful Grand Lodge of Texas. To my right, our chaplain is Brother Albert Davis. He is the District Education Officer of District 108 of the Most Worshipful Grand Lodge of Texas. And I don't believe Bert has made it back. There he is. Okay. Now the big guy in the house. He was also representing the commandery. This is David Carl Burt. He is the District Deputy Grand Master of Masonic District number 108 of the Most Worshipful Grand Lodge of Texas. Rob Worshipful, thank you for being here. All right. Now it's time to turn it over to the Eastern Star. And this event, of course, Brother Green Stewart was a member of the Eastern Star, as you were too, Margaret. And I believe there's a special lady here that has something to say about that. Miss Diane.
Good evening. It's so nice to see so many of Margaret and Green's family and friends here tonight. Thank you for coming and being part of the evening. If you look at the program, you can see their service and the love and the dedication to this lodge and also to this chapter. And it is a very deep honor to pay homage to both Burienne and Margaret. Thank you for your love and your support. And, Margaret is such a special lady. She's teeny, but she's so mighty. I don't know how she gets things done. She'll come up and she'll have a project or a committee or something that she needs done. And before you know it, I'm thinking, I don't want to do that. I'm not interested. And I'm shaking my head yes and having a conversation. pleased that we have someone from every chapter in our district here tonight in our Eastern Star family. If you're an Eastern Star, would you please stand? I would like to thank you on behalf of Margaret, thank you all for being here. It means the world to us for your love and support, and thank you for helping us make tonight a very special night.
Diane, if I
Thank
may,
you.
would they introduce themselves?
Yes. Okay, let's start over here to the left, if you'll please.
Keith Forrest out of Katy, 1121, past master, for the patron.
Shirley Arnold, Katie, 1121, and Richard, 652, and I'm past worthy major 8 times.
Linda Nichols, Sugarland, 1107, I'm a past major.
Darla Gwinnett, Rosenberg 49, past major.
Beverly Vaughn of Sugarland, 1107, past major.
Bunny Trammell, worthy matron, Sugarland, 1107.
Judy Smallman, Sugarland, 1107, West Mason.
Carlton Newberry, Cypress number 1102, past patron.
Betty Teal, Rosenberg 49, past matron.
Katie Bird, Rosenberg 439. Kathy St. John, past matron, Sugarland, 1107.
Jonathan St. John, past patron, Sugarland, 1107.
Russell Wood, past patron. 429.
Lydia Bradley, Rosenberg 49. And, I should have introduced myself to you. I'm Diane Woods, past patron here in Northwood. Thank you very much. You know. See what I mean? She's my boss. I'm telling you, please, Margaret Stuart, thank you. You can have a seat. Thank you so much. Margaret and Burienne was initiated in 1989, and the same year I came in, they came in about 7 months after me. And you know, I mean, I just have to say this. When I first met Burienne, I kind of didn't know how to take it. I was intrigued, but then I was a little scared of him. You know, I don't know if he has an affection on you, but when I first met him, I took everything he said for gospel. He was seized, and I thought he was so serious. It took a while until I got his wit. And then after that, we were fast buddies. But one time at work, I ran into some photographs for a grand jury panel. People that serve on grand jury. And as I was putting up the photographs, I saw there was one of Burienne. I was like, I didn't know he did serve on the grand jury. And later on, I went back and I looked at him again. He had not only served once, but he had served twice. So the next time we had Eastern Star,
historical fact that we would all very much appreciate about Sir Knight Stuart.
Burienne Stuart was a past honorary commander of Fort Bend Command Number 74. Fort Bend Command Number 74 was founded out of Bay City, which that came together, and over the entire history, which I think is well over 100 years now, right at that point, there never was anyone except for Sir Knight Stuart that was bestowed this honorary commander designation. So he was a special person. He did a lot of things for the craft and for commandery as well, for which we are eternally grateful. So, Margaret, thank you for sharing him. Wives have to sacrifice a lot for their masons along the way, and especially masons that are very active and involved with a lot of different bodies. Certainly, Lorkwright is not just commandery, but it's also the Royal Arts Chapter and the Royal Select Masters as well, 3 bodies in one, and he was very active and involved in those different bodies. And so we will miss him, but thank you for sharing him along today. Thank you, sir.
At this time, I would ask any member of Rosenberg Lodge number 881 if you would pleasure us with standing and saying anything that you would like to say to the Stuart family on behalf of those Stuart ones in the Lodge. Brother Smith.
May I approach these?
Yes, sir, you may.
For the audience, my name is Bill Smith, past master of Ward Lodge number 72, currently the senior warden. During when I was at Ward 72, we had a school of instruction, and during this latest, for those of you that have never tried to do the ritual, or those of you that have tried to do the ritual, know that sooner or later, no matter how good you think you are, how good you really are, you're going to get stuck. And Burienne was always there to get us off top this and get us going. What has impressed me the most in the 30-some odd years I've been a Mason is that from time to time, young men would come up to me and tell me their stories about how Burienne Stuart helped them get into the Masons. Just to prove my point, the latest story came from Russell, Wood, Rosenberg number 881, who Burienne taught his Masonic lessons. Thank you very much for your story, Russell. And thank you for learning what you're doing. It was very much appreciated.
So there's a few people I remember from day one, from the side from Burienne, one of them. Always quiet, but very calculated in what he said. Learning, the degree where it took me a minute to learn it. It was always, you messed up, do it again, and I would ask, how did I mess up? It doesn't matter, you messed up, do it again. And I'll never forget, this will stick with me forever. I always loved asking Burienne how he was doing, because he always told me the same thing, it wasn't nobody's business. And I couldn't help but laugh in his funeral, because the gentleman from y'all's church said the same thing. And I was like, golly, this is fine. But he's always positive, and Miss Margaret
understand about that is an A certificate holder recognized by the Grand Lodge of Texas is a man that knows it word for word for about 8 hours of work. That's what Marine Stewart was. He had it for 25 years. And it's a special man to get recognized by the Grand Lodge of Texas to get a life certificate. To give you an appreciation of how many life certificate holders there are in the state of Texas, of which there are currently about 71,000 Masons, there's 0.1%. That's what kind of Mason your husband was, and you know that. And due to your relationship, you probably know as much masonry as most of us could. But he was one of my teachers. My mentor, my teacher, happens to be in this room. That was Brother Bill Smith, who is also a life certificate holder of the Class A certificate. And both of them, Burienne and Bill, as soon as I was raised to a Master Mason, they made it very, very clear that I too would be an A certificate holder. And I know that I'm a pretty man. I'm not necessarily a smart man, but it took both of them for me to learn the work. And I wouldn't have done it without two greater men, one of which being your beautiful husband. I just want to share that. Margaret, at this time, we will yield the floor to you or your family to say anything that you would like any of us to.
She nominated me. Well, first of all, just want to say on behalf of my mom and Caroline and Sharon, thanks for what's already been an amazing evening. We feel honored and blessed. Like my dad, I'm a person of few words, so he'll appreciate this. I'll keep it to the point. But what I thought I would do is just have a few words to describe both my dad and my mom, and also a couple Bible verses that I thought were really meaningful in terms of describing them. So I talked to my sisters about this, and here's what we came up with. First of all, as a mom and dad, we could not have been more blessed. So very loving parents, that was the first word, loving. And then for my dad, first we had present. He was always present, committed no matter what and no matter where. He was there for us. Family was always first. So he was very present and committed. And then integrity. He never did one thing that didn't show absolute integrity. Never in my whole life did I ever question his integrity. Teacher. Whether he was at home or at work or at the lodge, he was always teaching, and he did that with such excellence. And then finally, serving. He always was seeking ways to serve other people, whether it was us or his family at church or the lodge, and whether it was a leadership position or he was cleaning the bathrooms, he was going to do it with excellence. And so those words really represent him to us. The verse I picked is Isaiah 40:31. That those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and they will not be faint. He was always soaring, and he certainly wasn't weary, and he was definitely never faint. For my mom, the first word we all thought of was strong or strength. She shows strength in all circumstances. I don't really think I've met a stronger person in my life. So, but she couples that with the second word, which is caring. She just really cares for people in a really strong way. Whether it was her aging parents or her great aunt, and particularly my dad, she just was tremendous in caring for him these last couple of years. And so she is just incredibly selfish in her care for other people. The next word was considerate. Honestly, I don't think I've ever heard my mom say anything negative about another person. And you can't say that for most people. She was always thinking of others and their situation. And then last, I don't think this will surprise anyone that knows her, laughter and joy. She always brought joy and fun to everything. And all of our kids, her grandkids, really loved that about her. She she's always having fun. And then the verse I picked for her, Philippians 2:3. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves. And that definitely represents my mom. She was always putting everyone else ahead of herself. So, again, thank you. We really appreciate it. It's a big honor to remember my dad in this way and to bless my mom. So, thank you.
Brother Senior Deacon Meyer and Brother Junior Deacon Rubalcaba, if you would please escort Margaret to the east. Go ahead and bring her over here. Make eye contact, I might not just do this. All right. My wife said it's not that bad. So, ladies and gentlemen, we, Rosenberg Lodge has prepared this proclamation, and if you'll just bear with me for a couple minutes, we will try to get through this. And I had to do it with we had to do it with pretty small font to get it on 11 by 17. Okay. Whereas, on 24 September 2020, Brother Burienne Stuart's soul transcended from the terrestrial and was received by the great architect of the universe in the celestial heaven above. Whereas, we, as Freemasons, are constantly reminded of the evergreen and the ever-living sprig of faith, of that immortal part within us that will supersede the grave and shall never die. Whereas, Brother Burienne Stuart served Rosenberg Lodge number 881, Ancient, Free, and Accepted Masons, with distinction as the 76th Worshipful Master during Masonic year June 24, 1979 to June 23, 1980. He did so with the servant leader's heart and by the precepts taught to by Texas Master Masons for the betterment of society. Whereas, Brother Burienne Stuart was an endowed member of Rosenberg Lodge number 881, Ancient, Free, and Accepted Masons. He was initiated on October 2nd, 1973, passed the degree of Fellowcraft on January 1st, 1974, and raised to the sublime degree of a Master Mason on March 12th, 1974. He was recognized by the Grand Lodge of Texas for his 40 years of service to the craft on May 7th, 2014. Whereas, Brother Burienne Stuart served the Grand Master of all Texas Masons as the District Deputy Grand Master of Masonic District number 108 of the Most Worshipful Grand Lodge of Texas from December 2nd, 2000 to December 8th, 2001. Whereas, Brother Burienne Stuart was recognized with the Grand Lodge of Texas Golden Trowel Award each at Rosenberg Lodge number 881 on June 23rd, 1999 and Morton Lodge number 72 on March 14th, 2006. Whereas, Brother Burienne Stuart was a Class A life certificate holder, being well informed of the Texas Masonic ritual. He was an astute student of the craft and experienced teacher, having taught hundreds of Masons in Fort Bend County and throughout Texas, as deemed appropriate by the Committee on Work of the Grand Lodge of Texas. Whereas Brother Burienne Stuart was an active member of the Texas York Rite, being the only Sir Knight to have the title bestowed upon him, honorary past commander, from the Fort Bend Commandery number 74 Knights Templar. Companion Burienne Stuart was also an active member of Richmond Chapter number 467 Royal Arch Masons and Richmond Council number 383 Royal and Select Masters. He was an active member of the Arabia Shrine, joining on July 30th, 1983. Whereas Brother Burienne Stuart was a committed member of Rosenberg Chapter number 429 of the Order of the Eastern Star, having been initiated on September 11th, 1989, and holding the following offices: Chaplain, 1992, Associate Patron, 1993 and 1997, Worthy Patron, 1994 and 1998, Sentinel 2003, and Marshall 2019. Whereas Sister Margaret Stuart is an active member of the Rosenberg Chapter number 429 of the Order of the Eastern Star, having been initiated on September 11, 1989, and holding the following offices: Electa 1990, Associate Conductress 1991, Conductress 1992, Associate Matron 1993, Worthy Patron 1994, Junior Past Matron 1995, Martha 1996, Organist 1997 to 2019, and Worthy Matron in 2020. Whereas Brother Burienne Stuart and Sister Margaret Stuart were 60 and 70-year members respectively of the First United Methodist Church of Rosenberg, serving together in the church and community in various capacities. And whereas Brother Burienne Stuart and Sister Margaret Stuart spearheaded the vision, led the fundraising, and oversaw the planning and construction of the mighty Rosenberg Masonic Lodge edifice located at 25507 Highway 59 in Rosenberg, Texas. The groundbreaking of the building was on March 28, 1981, and the building, with no debts against it, was dedicated on May 26, 1982. The Grand Lodge of Texas cornerstone ceremony for the building was conducted on February 20th, 1982. Now therefore, I, Cody Matthew Cockcroft, Worshipful Master of Rosenberg Lodge number 881, ancient free and accepted Masons, and witnessed by the 2020 to 2021 officers, and approved by the members of Rosenberg Lodge number 881 at its stated meeting on 18 May 2021, do hereby proclaim and set forth May 29, 2021 to be at Rosenberg Lodge number 881, the date its fellowship hall was named, Margaret and Burienne Stuart Fellowship Hall, signed by the officers of Rosenberg Lodge number 881. Now at this time, we are going to move forward with the undraping ceremony. So you folks that like to count your steps, this is your evening. I am going to ask all the audience to meet in the fellowship hall, and then I'm going to ask that the officers of Rosenberg Lodge number 881 escort the family to the hall, to the western wall, after everybody's assembled around the location. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in the fellowship hall.
It's been back everywhere.
It started up this way because I smelled it before everybody else, I think.
Well, let's see. Maybe it was before and it smells like that.
Okay. We've been checking everything over here. It does. It smells like the heater's on.
All right, so we're now going to proceed to the unbreaking ceremony to recognize this great hall for what it will ever be moving forward. Brother Stephanie, if you take the Speak up.
First time he's ever been told he wasn't allowed.
So, after this, there is cake, obviously, and I welcome anybody who wants to stay around and get your caloric count up. Please do so. So at this time, Margaret, if you will grab that side of the grate, I'll grab this side of the grate, and hopefully we won't pull the wall down and you So this is the Stuart wall. Up there on the top left is Burienne Stuart's life certificate provided to him by the Grand Lodge of Texas. This is the dedication of this hall. And like I said, the mastermind of this mighty edifice was this young lady before us and her beautiful husband, and as well as all the donors. And that was the proclamation from the county judge of Fort Bend County to recognize Rosenberg Lodge. And last but not least is a portrait, first portrait of these two beautiful people. Brother David, would you lead us in prayer?
Father God, thank you again for all the opportunities which you give each and every one of us every day. Thank you for the blessings which you bestow upon us. Thank you for friends and family. And thank you for this ceremony today in which we were able to honor our dear friends, the Stuarts, and their family, and all that they do for us and our community. We'd ask now, Father, that you would watch over each and every one of us, watch over our military men and women, our first responders, keep all of us safe, and watch over our country. Lord, we know we
Would be.
All right, I believe Diane is back there being a master nutrition and cutting all that cake up. Okay. Which side do you want to be on?
Okay. Which side? We need to get back on that. Yeah.